You're standing in a field, grass up to your knees, sun frying the back of your neck, some bug you can't identify crawling up your ankle like it owns the place. And somebody, let's not even ask who keeps handing you these jobs at this point, tells you your mission is to make sugar. Actual sugar. White, sweet, stir it into your coffee. Sugar. Out of grass. You don't even laugh this time. You just stare at them, blank-faced, the way you'd stare at someone who just told you to build a car out of clouds. Grass is what cows eat when they've completely given up on having opinions about food. It is, scientifically speaking, the least exciting plant on the planet. And yet, somewhere in this exact field, one very specific, very unremarkable-looking blade of grass is about to become one of the most fought-over, shipped, taxed, and traded commodities in human history. Wars have literally been started over this stuff. You just don't know which blade it is yet. So, no pressure. Before we get anywhere near sugar, we have to deal with the boring part. Every single one of these stories starts with, "Don't die." Sounds obvious. It is somehow always the hardest step. You can't run advanced plant chemistry in your head while your stomach is trying to eat itself. So you find water. You find food. You figure out fire, probably badly, probably by accident, probably while cursing at two rocks for an embarrassingly long time. You build something resembling shelter. Days pass. Nothing sweet happens. Nothing sweet is supposed to happen yet. You're not failing. You're just paying the entry fee. The one resource every discovery in human history actually ran on isn't intelligence. It's boredom. Free time. The second you stop fighting to survive is the exact second you're finally allowed to get curious. And curious is dangerous, because curious means you start eating things you probably shouldn't. This is the part where you become, unofficially, a field taste tester with zero safety training. You grab a plant, chew it, immediately regret it, spit it out, wipe your tongue on your arm like that's going to help, and move on to the next one. Most of it tastes exactly like you'd expect grass to taste. Bitter, watery, faintly like disappointment. A few plants taste like actual poison, and you learn that lesson exactly once, loudly, and then never again. But then, and there's always a but then in these stories, you find it, a thick, tall stalk, almost bamboo-like, purple-green, with a tough outer layer so fibrous you basically have to gnaw through it like it's corn on the cob crossed with a tree branch. You bite in, expecting more disappointment. And instead, juice. Sweet juice. Genuinely, shockingly sweet, like your brain doesn't even know what to do with the information. Congratulations, you've just met sugarcane. And here's the twist that should honestly be more famous. Sugarcane, despite basically running entire national economies, is, no joke, no exaggeration, a type of grass. You didn't downgrade your mission by chewing on lawn clippings. You nailed it on your very first real attempt. Nature just doesn't put up a sign. Here's where this stops being a fun little snack break and starts being an actual job. One stalk gives you, what? A mouthful. Maybe two, if you're really committing to it. That's not sugar. That's just a nice Tuesday. To get anywhere close to real sugar, you need volume, which means days, maybe weeks, of cutting stalks with sharpened stone, hauling armfuls of it back to your camp, stacking it like firewood you're weirdly, disproportionately proud of. Then comes the part your arms will genuinely hate you for. Crushing. No machine, remember. This is still just you, some flat stones, and pure stubbornness, smashing and grinding stalk after stalk until your hands are raw, just to squeeze the juice out of those stupidly tough fibers. What you end up with is cloudy, greenish, sweet liquid, cane juice, which is, right now, basically flavored swamp water. Drinkable, sure. Sugar? Not even close. The sugar is still hiding inside that liquid, and you're about to spend the rest of this journey coaxing it out. So you take that juice, and you do something that sounds almost insultingly simple. You heat it. Not boil it and go take a nap. Heat. Slow, patient. Hover over it for hours. Heat. In the biggest clay pot you can manage to shape with your own hands. As it cooks, water evaporates off as steam, but sugar doesn't go anywhere. It just sits there, quietly getting thicker, darker, stickier by the hour. You are not adding sugar to this liquid at any point. You never will, You're only ever removing everything that isn't sugar, one lazy curl of steam at a time, until what's left behind is finally concentrated enough to matter. This, unbelievably, is the exact same core trick every industrial sugar refinery on the planet still uses today. You're just doing it with a clay pot and blistered thumbs instead of a stainless steel tank and a supervisor. And here's the part nobody warns you about, because nobody ever does. As that juice keeps cooking down, a genuinely disgusting gray-green scum starts creeping up to the surface. Leftover plant fibers, proteins, random organic junk that has absolutely no interest in becoming sugar and never will. Leave that in, and your final product tastes like a swamp filed a formal complaint. So you skim, slowly, painstakingly, spoonful by spoonful, pulling the scum off the top and flicking it away over and over for what feels like an unreasonable amount of your one wild life. Eventually, and this is the moment you go from guy surviving to guy accidentally inventing chemistry, you figure out that tossing a bit of wood ash or crushed lime into the juice makes all that gunk clump together faster, so it floats up in bigger, easier, more satisfying clumps you can skim off in one go. You just invented a primitive form of water clarification, using stuff you found lying around your fire pit. Nobody's here to give you a medal for it. You should probably give yourself one anyway. Keep cooking, keep skimming. Hours crawl by, and your once watery, once swampy juice has transformed into something thick, dark, and glossy, almost like caramel, almost like something you'd want to just eat straight off a spoon right now. And, let's be honest, you absolutely try it, and it's not bad at all. But it's still not sugar. Sugar isn't a liquid, no matter how good this tastes. Right now, what you've got is molasses, rich, sweet, sticky, and completely, stubbornly unwilling to turn solid no matter how long you stare at it and silently will it to happen. This is the exact moment most people in your position would just shrug, decide molasses is basically the same thing, and spend the rest of their lives happily dipping fingers into syrup. You, apparently, have main character energy, so you don't stop. And here's the plot twist that changes everything. To turn liquid syrup into solid, crystalline sugar, you don't add a single new ingredient, nothing extra. You just cool it down, slowly, deliberately, while stirring. As the temperature drops, the sugar molecules floating around in that syrup start finding each other, linking up, locking into tiny, precise geometric grains, almost like they were just waiting for permission the whole time. Stir too fast and you get mush, too slow and nothing happens at all. You just sit there, stirring syrup like an idiot. But get the timing right, and right in front of your eyes, liquid starts turning gritty, then grainy, then unmistakably, undeniably crystalline. You didn't summon sugar out of thin air. It was in that juice from the very first bite of cane. You just finally gave it cold enough, calm enough conditions to show its face. Except now, you've got a whole new problem. A thick, gritty mess of sugar crystals still drowning in dark, sticky molasses. Fun fact, by the way, this exact mixture is why brown sugar exists at all. It's just sugar crystals that never got fully separated from their syrup. If you want the pale, dry, spoonable sugar everyone actually pictures, you need to physically pull the crystals out of that liquid. So you pack your gritty mix into a loosely woven basket or cloth and let gravity do slow, patient, unglamorous work. Molasses dripping out through the gaps below, crystals staying trapped up top. Days pass. Drip by drip, your sugar gets drier, paler, more and more separated from the syrup it grew inside of. It's basically a Stone Age centrifuge, minus the spinning, minus the electricity, running purely on time and your ability to just wait. What's left in that basket now actually, finally, unmistakably, looks like sugar. Pale tan, gritty, undeniably crystalline. If you want it whiter, brighter, closer to the stuff in a supermarket bag, you rinse those crystals with a bit of clean water or filter the leftover syrup through crushed charcoal or bone char, pulling out the last traces of color and stray plant residue. Every pass makes it lighter. Every pass makes it purer. You spread it out in the sun to dry, break up the clumps with your bare hands, and there it is, sitting in your palm. The exact same molecule that ends up in sugar bowls, birthday cakes and gas station candy aisles thousands of years later, and you built it out of a fistful of tall, ugly purple grass that 99% of people would have walked straight past without a second glance. With none of that grassy bitter edge that punched you in the face on day one. No syrup, no mush, no swamp water, just pure, dry, crystallized sugar sitting in your hand, made from something you once assumed only cows could possibly love. Most people think sugar just comes from a factory, in a paper bag, full stop, end of story, nothing more to it. It's not. It's grass, survived first, then chewed by accident for a hint of sweetness, harvested by the armful, crushed with raw stubbornness, boiled for hours to strip out the water, skimmed clean of everything that didn't belong, cooled patiently into crystals, drained of its syrup, and refined again and again into something white enough to trust with your morning coffee. Every spoonful stirred into tea, every candy bar, every birthday cake in human history started exactly where you're standing right now, knee-deep in grass, completely unaware of what was hiding inside it. You came here with nothing but weeds under your feet. You're leaving with sugar in your hand.